being your truest self for personal development and growth. Because like I said in the last video, personal development is really a lifelong thing. Like you're doing that every single day. You're changing and you're growing, evolving every single day, especially when you're doing something different. You know, you're not playing it safe anymore. You're not doing what's comfortable. You're actually starting to do what you're getting your feet wet. You're getting your feet wet on different things that you've been always wanting to do. Have something of your own. You know what I mean? So yes, and when you are changing yourself, when you are embodying your inner badass, it's like a domino effect in other areas of your life, with relationships, with your career, with yourself, with your business, your jobs, like it's social, social relationships, personal relationships, everything is being affected in your life, in all aspects of your life. Everything is changing, not only you, everything around you, okay? So let's go ahead and get to it. So there's 3 things that I will be talking about as far as what's been holding you back from being your badass self and how to get to it, okay? So the first thing I want you guys to think about is identifying the persona that you desire to have. What do you desire to look like, talk like, sound like, act like, all these things, and what are the things that you want to get into? Do you want to be a speaker? Do you think about the things that you've always wanted to do, but always been like holding yourself back and afraid to do for whatever reason, you know what I mean? And just think about those things, write it down, everything that I'm saying. And it could be like a bunch of different sheets. And so the first sheet could be, what do you desire to look like? Like, what's your style? What the second sheet could be, how do you want to act? How do you want to yourself to be projected out to the world? And not even thinking about external noise as far as like what society thinks and what your family thinks. And no, fuck all that. Think about how do you want to be presented in the world? Okay. How do you want to be presented in the world as your authentic self, not as thinking about what society thinks you should be, as your authentic, naked inner self? How do you want that to be projected outwardly? Okay. Think about these things. So, and then write it out. So after you do that, the second thing is to figure out what is holding you back from maintaining this persona. What is holding you back from being your greatest self? You, of course, but why? You got to dig deep and figure out what exactly is getting in the way of you being that self. So, for example, for me, it was, I was afraid, the classic, I was afraid what people would think about me. Would people not want to be my friend anymore? Would people think like, oh, what is she doing? Like, she weird. And because when you are yourself, you start to stand out, because we're all low-key like robots, living an autopilot life. But when you stand out, when you're actually yourself, we're all individual people, of course. However, we all are not embracing our inner badass, our truest self. We're living that autopilot life on the go. Eat, work, sleep, repeat, eat, work, sleep, repeat, that type of thing. But when you're actually doing something out of the ordinary and weird and you're yourself, then you are officially standing out, okay? But what's preventing you? What are you scared of? Why are you biting your tongue? What is going on? Why are you afraid to speak up on your beliefs and your values? Are you that type of person? Because I definitely was, who would hold back. I would go through a day, and then let's say I'd be in the shower and I'm thinking like, damn, this conversation could have been this way, it could have gone that way, I could have said this, I could have, should have, would have, no. That sucks. It sucks when you have all of these regrets on how a day or a conversation could have been. You want to feel happy. Like when you're laying in bed at the end of the day, you want to feel fulfilled and rewarded at the end of the day. Like, I said everything that I needed to say. And if consequences happen, if people don't like me, then it is what it is. It is what it is, because you're not going to be able to please everybody. So that goes with that, as far as like thinking about what other people may think of you. Let's see. So that's definitely a classic reason why people are holding back. Another one could be being afraid of what would happen after they tap into their fullest potential. That happens too. Being afraid of the success. because they know deep down that they can be like extremely successful, whether it's wealth or whether it's inspiring a lot of like hundreds, millions, thousands of people. Deep down you know that, but you're afraid of what, just getting your world rocked, your current reality rocked. That is the deep fear. And it's sad because you are like shrinking yourself of being your greatest self. You're shrinking yourself from being your greatest self. And when you do that, you're limiting yourself, and you're not able to at least see what it's like on the other side. You're just thinking about it, you're dreaming, you're visualizing it, but not being able to give yourself the opportunity to actually make it real. The miracles aren't just going to happen, like they're not going to just be thrown in your lap. You have to put in the work. You have to believe. And when you believe and don't do anything about it, you're limiting yourself. See what it's like. See what happens. Just give it a try. And that's way easier said than done. That's why it's so important to have like an accountability partner to hold you accountable on, versus like being tunnel vision. Like look at that light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is what you want. That is what you desire. Go for it. And when you have an accountability partner and a cheerleader right by your side, they are able to help push you to be your greatest self, push you a little bit to make sure that happens. So yes, as far as the things that are holding you back, those are two main ones. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is, what would it take for you to maintain this persona? Okay. So once you break through whatever is getting in the way of you being able to move forward in life, then you got to figure out how to maintain there. Got to figure out how to keep that same energy. How do you keep that same energy? Well, honestly, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. However, know that you got to figure out what would it take for you to maintain that, like be high energized, high spirited. What would it take for you to get to that point at all times? Okay. No self-doubt, no insecurities, no self-sabotage. Okay. If you want your manifestations to come true, you have to fully embody your inner badass and be consistent with it. You can't just be a badass one day and then the next day you're not. You're divorcing your old self. You're divorcing your old self. It's like a relationship. So like you broke up with your ex, old self, bye. Thank you, next. And then you having a new relationship with your new self. You're having a new relationship with your new self. So the old feelings may reappear within your current relationship. Old feelings that you had for the old self, it may reappear in your current relationship with your new self. So you got to be prepared for that. You can't just change overnight. Like those feelings are going to come back. Those feelings of the negative self-talk, the self-sabotaging, the limiting yourself, the limiting beliefs, all these things that are shrinking you into this little box, wanting you to go back to being on autopilot. But no, you are the CEO of your own mind, body, and spirit. So you have the power and control to actually really like maintain your inner badass. Okay. So with that being said, you got to figure that out. I will tell you, for me, I tell you these examples because I know it works for me, and I know that we're all different. So you got to figure out what works for you. But as far as like what has worked for me is definitely, I created a vision board of all of the things that I want to achieve in my life, how I, look, not how I talk, but let's see, what does it have on there? So like some of the things that I want to accomplish. So like like the house I want, where I want it to be, where I want to travel to, what I want to do for my family, what I want to do with my friends, what I want to do for my partner, what I want to, like all the things, the money, like all of the stuff that I want to accomplish, I have on my vision board. And then it's fun, like having a vision board, you guys, when you create a vision board, because you're able to see some of the stuff come true. It is it's powerful. Because it does come true when you look at it and when you envision it and believe it and actually take action, things come true in the vision board. So that's my little secret. I mean, vision boards aren't a secret, but that's what I do. So, a vision board, yes. And also, since we're on the topic of vision board, I also have like a video board type of thing. So I have like a bunch of pictures that I put together and like current pictures where like, and also things that I was able to accomplish in my life all in a video with soft music in the back. So, and then like I have like a voiceover of like different affirmations for that work for myself. And I look at that every day, and that helps too. So those are a couple things. So vision board, vision video, journaling, you know, those are some things. Dance, y'all know, bounce back to purpose. Okay. So dancing and singing, that definitely gets me lit up. So think about what like makes you smile, what makes you feel so good. You got to get back to that. You got to bounce back and keep that same energy. So that way you're able to maintain it, because inner badass and being consistent with being your inner badass is definitely going to give you the lady balls to actually go for whatever you want in life. You want to be in entrepreneurship, you got to have lady balls to do it. That's just what it is. Okay. No comparison. No more thinking about what other people are thinking about you. No more of that. You got to be unapologetic, authentic. You have to be yourself. You have to be true to yourself. And like I said, I know it's way easier said than done. That's why it's an everyday thing. That's why I'm still looking at my little vision board. I'm still looking at my video. I'm still journaling every single day, because I know what it's like to be shrunken in that box, shrinking yourself in that box, and how hard sometimes it is to get out of that box, get out of autopilot living. Okay, I know what it's like. So it's so important for you guys to figure out what works for you.